Welcome back to the Tech Talks Daily podcast. Now, as an ex-IT guy, yes, even I have lost files in the past, and I know all too well the importance of a backup. Hopefully that kind of stuff only happens to you once, and in our personal lives, it's never been easier to have a personal cloud solution. But some of those more traditional services, could they be showing their age? Because I recently read how Synchronoss have announced a major upgrade to its personal cloud solution that is being rolled out to Verizon, AT&T and so many other major carriers this year. And ultimately it's a redesigned platform. It's called Synchronoss Personal Cloud, and it includes a new user interface along with advanced cloud management features such as the integration of artificial intelligence and machine learning. But another thing that I saw was the selling point of privacy being paramount, which is something you don't always see in other OTT solutions. So I wanted to find out more about Synchronoss and how that personal cloud is purpose-built for telecom providers, carrier networks, and ultimately enabling them to deliver a highly scalable, feature-rich experience that also ensures the utmost in data privacy and security. So my guest to guide us through this today is Jeff Miller, who is a long-term listener and first-time caller, as they used to say on those radio talk shows many, many years ago. So buckle up and hold on tight, because it's time for me to beam your ears all the way to New Jersey, where Jeff is going to join us today. So a massive warm welcome to the show, Jeff. Can you tell everyone listening a little about who you are and what you do?
Certainly. Thank you. And delighted to be on the program. My name is Jeff Miller. I lead Synchronoss Technologies today as the CEO. I've been with the firm for a little over 4 years and acting as CEO for the last 2 years. But that's following a 30-year career in mostly customer-facing roles in technology and telecom companies such as AT&T, Motorola, Google, Lenovo, etc. But also a fair bit of time in startups, both working with an incubator that I'm involved with in Chicago called 1871. And I've had an opportunity along the way to take a startup public. So been a good ride.
Well, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on the podcast. Before we talk about Synchronoss, I feel I've got to go there because you just talked about your rich history in tech and the journey that you've been on, a fantastic career. So can you remember the moment that lit the spark in you, where your passion for technology came from, or what's your origin story? Because everybody's got one, right? And I suspect that there's one there too.
Well, there is. I was certainly interested in technology right from the beginning of my career when I graduated from university. But I started that career in AT&T. But candidly, the spark that really got me deeper involved in it was 10 years later, as I was getting introduced to Motorola and the first digital generation of wireless communication was being deployed. And it prompted me to leave AT&T and join Motorola and in numerous capacity over the years. But it was the wireless communication and its explosion that I found I really wanted to be a part of it.
Love that, man. Such a cool story. And before we start talking about Synchronoss, just to make sure we don't leave anybody behind here, for anyone listening that's just hearing about you guys for the first time, can you just roughly explain what Synchronoss Personal Cloud is, and also how the recent upgrade improves upon its previous versions, just for anyone that's joining us and hearing about you guys for the first time?
Sure. Well, Synchronoss overall is a software solutions provider.
Yeah.
And our unique approach to it, if you will, is that we are a white label provider. So our customers, which are global service providers, apply their brand to our products, which is very true in the cloud circumstance, which is the largest part of our business. And what's exciting about our cloud business is both that it's on a very strong growth capacity with terrific anchor customers, and that we're using the latest technology in AI and machine learning to really help enable the growth of that in the future.
And I'm glad you mentioned machine learning and artificial intelligence there. I think it's almost compulsory to bring those two up now. It's gone so mainstream this year. So I'm curious, how will the integration of AI and machine learning, how will that enhance the user experience and functionality of the personal cloud? Because I think we hear about it in so many different areas, but maybe people don't automatically associate it with the personal cloud.
No, they probably don't, but this is how we apply it.
Yeah.
We use computer vision today to identify people, places, and things to surface the most relevant content to the user. We do use generative AI to also create content back to the user so that they can modify it, make it even more interesting to them, and arguably create a new form of artwork from a former photo, as an example.
And I think every single person listening, wherever they're located in the world, and I think we've got people listening in something like 165 countries, and I think the one thing that we all have in common is we will all have a story of how we accidentally deleted something and failed to retrieve it. It's a universal problem. So with that in mind, can you delve into how Backtrack works and also why you consider it a game changer for people who may accidentally delete, corrupt, or ultimately lose their files that are so important to them?
Well, you're describing some very good examples, but I'll ask you to just consider an example of a ransomware attack.
Yeah.
And our Backtrack functionality, which is a new addition to our cloud capabilities, allows you the opportunity to reset your computer to a point in time before the attack occurred, effectively allowing you to roll back your Mac or your PC before the attack, allowing you to preserve the content and not ever risking that it can go away.
And I've got to ask, how is that different to, let's say, I don't know, the Mac OS or Windows? Because they have similar features, but sadly, they don't always work in ransomware attacks, right?
Well, what we do is we are maintaining a constant copy of the content itself. And again, our content is the most personal content. It's your photos, it's your videos, it's your files, things you can't afford or emotionally do not want to lose. So we back up all of that and allow you to retrace the clock, if you will, to make sure that that's preserved, even if you were attacked and that material and content was corrupted in some manner.
And before you came on the podcast today, I was doing a little research on all the different features and the kind of things that you're doing. And another one that stood out for me was a feature called Genius. Sounds incredibly intriguing, but can you elaborate on how it utilizes AI to optimize things like photos and also what benefits users can expect? Because I think we all hear about those buzzwords, but it's that value that they offer that really makes it stand out.
Well, Genius is actually just in its early stages, but yes, we are applying AI as a means by which to allow you to take older photos, for example, and colorize them from black and white to color. It also allows you as an individual to be an artist of your own. So you can create touch-ups and optimize portraits or selfies. If they're blurry, you can make them clearer. Or more interestingly, you can take an existing photo and add effects to it, such as a pencil sketch version of the same image, or apply a watercolor filter, creating an entirely new piece of artwork that then you might want to reshare or, apply it to some other use.
And I think what also caught my attention was something called advanced highlights, which with machine learning is used to categorize and tag content. Again, it can be incredibly complex for the typical user listening. So can you explain more about the entire process and how it assists in content management and sharing? Because we all have so much data that we generate on an almost daily basis now. It can be difficult to keep a track of it all, can't it?
Yeah, you are correct. And just as an example, we capture within our cloud service today over 5 million photos, videos, or files a day. And in total, we have cumulative volume of over 200 petabytes of data. So it's massive data being captured, as you described. And what we do is that as that content is ingested, it is immediately post-processed so that we can see which objects or faces are in the content. Then we use the metadata, like where and when that photo was taken and on what device. And then we allow to fuse all that information together so that you can search on, for example, which photos I took maybe when I was on vacation last year with my daughter, just like the one you were commenting on as we were beginning the broadcast. We use third-party services and partners like Rekognition and open source models like Clip, and we apply those in our platform to provide this capability.
And I read a stat, I think it was some point last year, and it was something like, would you sooner have somebody spend 15 minutes unsupervised in your home or 15 minutes unsupervised with your phone? And of course, I think the stat was overwhelmingly people would sooner allow someone to be 15 minutes in their home than going anywhere near the phone, because I think we carry our entire lives around on our phones. And there is, let's be honest, a lot of sensitive content in there that we wouldn't want anybody else to see. So on that side of things, can you tell me a little about the private folders feature? Because I think that's deemed as being essential for users who need to protect certain amounts of their data. Is that right?
That's correct. And in the cloud circumstance that we provide, it's a personal cloud offering with photos and video content, personal files such as, precious and important data. And in one sense, many people talk and spend most of the time sharing photos, as you are well familiar.
Yeah.
But private folders takes an entirely different approach. We use biometrics or a personalized PIN to protect the information that you select you want to go into that photo or into that folder. And with private folders, even though you might be able to share all of your other content with your other family members, things like your driver's license, your passport, your vaccination documents, things that are to you very critical and personal, or things you just don't want other people to see, you can put in that private folder. And we've enabled that as another capability for an individual to program and to use on their own.
And from the outside looking in, Synchronoss Personal Cloud really seems to have this emphasis on privacy and security and things that are crucial in today's digital world and things that we often neglect. So how does your cloud solution ensure utmost data privacy and security compared to so many of those other over-the-top solutions that we see out there? Is there anything that makes you stand out, would you say?
Yeah. First, I believe that it's worth noting that our business model does not revolve around leveraging that data about you or your photos to sell ads or for any other services, like many of our over-the-top competitors. We have no incentives to collect and mine that data in your private content to be used for any other reason. So our focus is on providing a platform that is carrier grade, tightly secure, and it is done so not just through typical passwords and biometrics, but through battle-tested carrier network mechanisms that allow for authentication that even go as far as validating what device you're on, what network you're using, and we can validate all those things naturally without any need for human intervention because we work closely with the telecom and global service providers that have that inherent in their network. So security for us is paramount of importance. A violation of someone's access to your personal content is top on our priority list. And as such, we use technologies not unlike some of your other guests from Zscaler that are zero trust oriented to make sure that we protect that content as you would want to protect it.
And you mentioned service providers there. So let's try and bring everything we're talking about to life here. So if we've got a customer listening of a major carrier like, let's say, Verizon or AT&T, what should they expect from the rollout of this revamped personal cloud solution? And are you able to give a sneak peek into the kind of personal user experience or additional features that we can look forward to?
Yeah, certainly. We have among our clients some of the largest global service providers in the world: Verizon, AT&T, in our messaging platforms, companies throughout the world, including Telecom Italia or customers in Japan from NTT Docomo to SoftBank. So we have very large customers that we want to make sure are always in a situation where they can see and take advantage of the future of where technology is going. So we've talked about some of it. AI is an area that we will be seeing increased leverage on. That genius capability we spoke of will expand tremendously, but we'll also see not only these uses and applications for a mobile environment, but more increasingly in the world of the home, where now with 5G networks pervasively covering geography, we'll see our cloud solution more expanded in fixed wireless access environments that allow for high-speed internet in your home provided through 5G, leveraging a cloud that you can share with a family of 5. Or access and capture of the information that we do today on a personal basis, also extending into IoT devices, where the camera content that you might capture in your home security system could also be archived, managed, just as we do with personal photos and videos today. So we think we've got a bright future to continue to expand our relevance to our customers. And we are excited to bring this new capability of the cloud to market.
Well, a big thank you for taking the time to talk about at some of those big new features and what we can expect in the very near future. And we started the podcast today talking about your origin story, where your career began and how you got where you are now, and even had time to take a little glimpse into the future of the personal cloud and the roles of machine learning and artificial intelligence. But before I let you go, as we come full circle, I'm now going to ask you to look back and reflect on your career, because I think none of us are able to achieve any degree of success without a little help along the way. And all too often we celebrate the success at the peak of the mountain, but not that long climb along the way. So is there a particular person that you're grateful towards who maybe inspired you, saw something in you, invested a bit of time in you, anything at all? But is there anybody that helped you get where you are that you'd like to give a little thank you and just recognize today?
Well, I think it's a bit fitting the day after Father's Day in the United States that I provide a nod to the man who had certainly the biggest influence on my life and my career, and that's my father. Yeah. And he did so because he had a mantra that I've always tried to live up to, which is, hey, always leave things better than you found them, whether it's a challenging business problem or an unswept floor. He also instilled the importance of cultivating lasting relationships in business and in life in general. And as such, he was a great role model for hard work, integrity, and someone that I get inspired by every day.
Wow, it's a beautiful answer and a very powerful moment to end the podcast on today. But again, before I let you go, for anyone listening, just want to find out a little bit more information about Synchronoss, maybe look up some of the features we mentioned today, contact your team, or connect with yourself. What's the best starting point for everything?
Yeah, please join us on social media with our LinkedIn site or our Twitter location, or at synchronoss.com. We also publish a monthly newsletter, which you can sign up via our website. So we'd be glad to have you learn more about Synchronoss. Thank you very much, Neil.
Well, it's been a huge pleasure to have you on the podcast today to talk about the redesigned platform, the Synchronoss Personal Cloud, and also including some of those information about the new user interface, along with advanced cloud management features, including artificial intelligence and machine learning. I'd be very interested to monitor this further and see how AI and machine learning further evolve in your products. It'd be great to get you back on maybe next year, see how things are going. But I also loved hearing about your origin story and that powerful closure about your father there, and that mantra of always leave things better than you found them. Such a powerful moment to end on. So thanks for sharing all that with me today.
The pleasure was mine. Thank you very much, Neil.
And there we have it, folks. Another insightful episode. And I want to extend a massive thank you to Jeff Miller, President and CEO of Synchronoss. And thank you for joining us today, sharing his expertise and insight and the upgrades to its personal cloud solution. I think we learned a lot about the advanced cloud management features, the integration of AI and machine learning, and also how privacy and data protection is being put at the forefront. Now, it does make me wonder, what does that mean for other services out there? Are they doing the same? And for everybody listening out there, remember, technology is advancing at such a rapid pace. The way we handle and protect our data must mean that must evolve too. So for everyone listening, remember that if technology is advancing at such a rapid pace, then the way we handle and protect our data must evolve too. So I applaud everyone at Synchronoss for showing us how cloud services can and should prioritise user privacy and data security. And to quote the mantra of Jeff's late father there, leave things better than you found them. And for those reasons alone, I think Synchronoss is doing just that. And I think Synchronoss is doing just that in the realm of personal cloud solutions. And I hope our conversation today has inspired you in some small way to take a closer look at your personal cloud solution. Is it meeting your privacy and data security needs? Have you thought about it before? If not, why not? So don't forget to join me again tomorrow for another episode. We'll discuss something completely different that will involve the exciting advancements in the world of technology and how we must evolve and adapt with them. But if you've got any questions or anything you'd like to add to today's discussion, just email me, techblogwriter@outlook.com, or send me a DM on LinkedIn @NeilC.Hughes, and we'll keep this conversation going. But other than that, please stay safe, stay curious, never stop learning. And a big thank you for listening to this podcast as always. And until next time, don't be a stranger.